shift the conversation. Well, let's shift the conversation here just a little bit. So you know it's over. She knows it's over. Now you are back on the dating market. And I think the reason why you and I wanted to have conversations like this was to let other black men know you're not alone. You're not the only ones going through these kinds of things. Now, I've been out of the game. Good God, almost it'll be 8 years coming up in January. So I can't necessarily speak to the goings on out here in the dating market because I just haven't been there. I haven't been out there in a while. I'm fortunate enough to still be in a relationship with the same woman for the last 7+ years. But what are some things that you are experiencing out in the dating market as a black man who has been divorced?
Well, let me first say this.
Okay.
When I got married, I was 28.
Oh.
So when I came back, when the marriage ended, I was 38. So my expectation of the type of woman that was out here was drastically different. At 28 years old, I didn't have to deal with, I wasn't really in circles where I dealt with a lot of single mothers. I knew there were a lot of single mothers out here, right. But I was a professional. I was in professional environments. Most of the women around my age at that point did not have children or working on. So the biggest shocker coming out at 38 was what I had access to, right. Which was nothing but baby mamas,
right?
You know, and I hate to use that term, that derogatory term, but Fantasia is the one. Believe it or not, Fantasia is the one that actually gave black women that term because they embraced it. Baby when she mama? Came out with that song, "This is for all my baby mamas." That term didn't really exist until she came out with that song.
Wow.
And so that one was out here in the market, and I really wasn't really tripping over it initially because I didn't really have any real awareness, because in black culture, you know, that's normal to see guys dealing with women with multiple kids or multiple guys. That's just a normal way of doing things. But when you're a guy on a different trajectory and you got different goals and you're in different spaces, you know, I'm a guy that on a professional standpoint, I go to like mayor's balls and high, you know, a tuxedo, fundraisers. One of my best friends is a vice president of a major bank.
Oh wow! So you're used to going to like black tie events, things
of
that nature. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And so, you can't really bring Shaniqua with her 4 different baby daddies. You know, that type of. Let me kind of dial back.
Okay.
I took out a girl. I wish I remember her name, but she was the prototypical, you know, 3 baby daddy type of girl. I took her to Olive Garden, and Donovan, she started crying at the table.
Oh my God.
And I looked at her, I was like, what's going on? I thought maybe she's dealing with something. And she goes, and I kid you not, she goes, I've never been to a restaurant this fancy.
Oh, Jesus. Oh my God. This woman cried at the Olive Garden. And now here's the thing. Shout out to Olive Garden. I love Olive Garden. I'm not going to act like I'm above going.
No, I love
dude, unlimited. Look, you and I, man, we're both big boys, right? Like, we can appreciate the unlimited breadsticks, but for a woman to admit to you that this is the nicest restaurant she's ever been to, what was the rest of the night like? Did she behave herself or what?
Yeah, she behaved herself. She just was really blown away by it. Now, she ended up giving me some, but, you know, she ended up not, of course it wasn't going to go anywhere. And at the time I really didn't understand that it wasn't going to go anywhere, right. But she did me a favor because she was like, listen, I can't deal with you. I'm not used to this. And I just couldn't wrap my head around it's Olive Garden. You know, that's all I'm thinking in my head. Sure. This is not like some Ruth Chris or fancy restaurant where you got to get dressed up at. But, you know, she ended up doing me a favor. But the thing coming back out into the market at that age, man, is the realization that if what you want in quality is going to be hard pressed to find.
Yep.
And I know that there's issues across all spectrums of men,
Of course.
but things are usually 5 times worse within the black construct. So if most black men want a black woman,
Right.
one of the things that I had to unfortunately come to terms with, I don't know if I should say come to terms, because I don't know if I really did, is if you are a black man and you want a black woman and that's your goal, you're going to have to swallow that you're going to be somebody's stepfather. You're going to have to swallow that. If you want a black woman, if you are over, I would say 35 years old and you're now trying to think about settling down or getting a family, you are not going to have your own family if you want a black woman.
And
you're not.
therein lies, and you know what is this is very interesting, TJ. Therein lies the problem.
Yes.
The guy that runs the Manosphere Highlights Daily, he says it all the time. He's like, the only reason why I left America to find a wife, and the reason I wanted a wife is because I want kids. It doesn't make any sense it makes no sense for a man to get married if he does not want kids. That's just how that goes. Now, other situations like myself notwithstanding, I've never wanted kids. Even if I did, I couldn't have them with Devin. She's 46 years old. She's way past childbearing years. But one thing that I've always let people know is that when you're talking about issues like within the black community, it gets really, 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 really bad. And yes, there are issues in all other races, but issues in the black community, it's almost like they're magnified. Derek the Trader, TJ, sends a $5 super chat. It says, Donovan, do black men in America care less these days about being shamed by black women for dating outside their race? Very good question. What are your thoughts on that, TJ?
It's moving that way.
Okay.
It's moving that way. Let me tell you something. And I know this is going to be maybe a shock, maybe not to men, but what Kevin Samuels, what he said, how he was saying it, his standpoint, the only people that it was new to were women.
Yep. That's right.
And here's the other thing. Our black women don't believe that. Because in their world, they don't hear any guys talk about that. And that's why I bring back some accountability to us by being a bunch of cowards.
Right.
Is not having the ability to tell the women how you actually think and what you actually want. And here's the thing. Men place a lot of value on getting, how does MTR put it? The viscous innards.
The viscous innards, yes.
Men place a great deal of value on getting it.
Yes.
But guess who doesn't place any that much value on getting it? The women. Don't let any dirty dick Dillinger in them. They don't care.
Nope.
And so the reason why we place so much value in it is because not a lot of us get it on a regular basis, and we gotta do so much to get it. So therefore, because for us, it seems like a rare commodity, so therefore we overinflate the value of it. So black men, yes, at one point, I would say through the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, we would get shamed about dating out. But I would say the last 5 to 6 years, black men are just saying, you know what? We watched our fathers, get run through by women. We have been run through, the mill about trying to, get in alignment with our women, and they've just rejected it. And so men goes, Kevin would say this all the time. Do you expect me to tell my guys to just not have a woman because you won't get right?
There you go.
He goes, I'm not going to tell them to do that. And I think that gave men the courage to go, you know what? He's absolutely right. Why do I gotta suffer because the woman that share my reflection don't want to get on the same page with me for whatever reason?
And that more or less, TJ, that is what gave rise to the Passport Bros.